Hey guys, what's up? So in this one, we're going to be covering the Yatsufusa guild boss for P5X Global version 2.4. This is week 2 of the guild bosses. And we're going to be running Wonder 1, Soy 2, Vino 3, Queen 4 with Phoebe as navigator. Wonder will be using the Arc Knife Dagger with Bishamonten, Dionysus, and Ame no Uzume. And I'm going to try and make this one like a little bit quicker just because we've had Yatsufusa like 6,000 times at this point since Queen's come out. I don't really know if there's like a ton to say. It's been a little bit since we've had him in rotation, I think, but like it's the exact same fight as it kind of always is. But yeah, I'll put the slot-ins on the screen here. There's not really any good slot-ins. Like if you don't have Queen, kind of just going to be use Joker, I think, and hope for the best if you can't borrow a Queen. And with the Guardian Medic thing, like Queen does lose a little bit off the top of like what she wants to do anyway, because you can't really use Vino plus another buffer like a Vino plus Leon, Vino plus Cord. So you're kind of stuck on this side anyway, I think. But in terms of the Navi, you can kind of just like go down the list. Like if you don't have Mesa, then I would use Futaba here. Like if you didn't use Futaba on the other side. If you don't have Phoebe and Futaba's not available, then you could go down to Wind and just try and match up, Wind's skill 3 with when Queen is going to be using like her highlights and crash outs and stuff on those kinds of turns. But if you still have questions, feel free to leave them down below and I will do my best to answer whatever I can for you. Otherwise, moving into the personas for Bishamonten, so this is going to change a little bit depending on like how strong your Queen is, but I've brought Cosmic Flare in the event that Queen doesn't wipe the ads, so we can use that instead of Imperial Purge on one of the turns, so feel free to bring Cosmic Flare. I'm going to bring it just in case, because I'll use it too if some of the ads don't get taken out. Dionysus will just need the classic, Revolution, Rebellion. And then I'm bringing Ame for Electric Dance to hopefully on the last turn potentially give an additional element if the boss doesn't have Shock already. Plus you get like a crit rate boost when Ame inflicts an ailment. But you don't have to bring Ame. You can bring like Norn and try and inflict Windswept for the extra defense down. You can bring Narcissus and try and use Spike for Windswept plus his damage up. I just like the option of being able to inflict an ailment plus inflict some other kind of like debuff or additional buff for the team on that last turn, just in case you get unlucky and like, Vino applies like the same ailment 6 times and you end up with having, no Shock or no Windswept or something. Can't show you Palk's Queen, but I can show you mine, and I assume we're both running the same card set, which is going to be Awareness and Truth. I actually have Soy running Trust and Prosperity here because Vino's already running Departure and Control, and considering Vino's like attacking every turn and Soy actually is using some skills on the team for icy defense. So yeah, so this gives like a little bit extra damage up, plus it'll help with the highlight rotation, helps us get off an extra highlight during the fight. So Vino is running Departure and Control, and then Phoebe's running Integrity and Labor. Like I said, I'm going to be borrowing Palk's Queen for this, but I'll be using the A0 rotation anyway. But if you have any other questions or anything, leave them down in the comments below, and I'll do my best to answer whatever I can for you. Otherwise, I will see you when we get into the fight. All right, so we're going to go ahead and use Rebellion on Queen. Soy, we're going to use his gun here. So basically, you have 2 options here. You can either just use Icy Defense and forego the RNG on the gun, or you can try and take like 2 or 3 shots if you really want to try and apply the defense down for the 3 turns here, and then you can try it again on turn 4 to apply it for the last 3 turns. So I got it on the first shot right there, so I got lucky. If you don't even feel like dealing with this RNG and it takes more than like 2 or 3 shots, I would probably just reset, or you could just Icy Defense, which is probably what I suggest because this fight is a pain. It's like my least favorite fight in the entire game. I can't stand doing this fight. But we got lucky there. If you don't feel like doing that, I don't believe it's a big deal. You can just Icy Defense on this first turn. But with Vino, I'm going to use Blunt Edge regardless. And now here's where things might change for you depending on how strong your Queen is. So we're not going to crash out or anything, so it's not going to change the rotation here. But with the Sanction Drift on this Queen, basically when I technical with this Queen or even my A1 Queen, I was finishing off the ads. So we should finish off everyone but the last guy. I would say the only thing that's going to change here is there's going to be 2 things that I would change depending on how many ads are alive. But for now, we're going to use Phoebe's skill 2 on Queen. And then I'll kind of get to the stuff I change as we get to it. But because one of these guys is alive, if any ads are alive, I would use Cosmic Flare here and just make sure to main target Yatsufusa so that he gets the Tower of Purification stacks. But for me, this will finish off the ad. If it doesn't for you, I'm going to crash out and use skill 3 on Queen on the boss this turn. You can just crash out and use skill 1, and it should kind of, be the same difference. The following turn, you'll be able to just pick up the rotation where I'm at. So, yeah, that's what I would do in that situation. But otherwise, Soy will go ahead and use Smash Hit on the boss. And then Vino, go ahead and use Bullseye Bomber. And then my Phoebe's back up again. If you don't think you'll be able to get 2 premium cocktails for the last 2 turns of this fight again, after using a skill 3 here, you could honestly just like stall out into the last 2 turns. We care more about the last 2 crash out turns where the score mult is ×2 than we do about this, 2 crash out turns where it'll be 1 and 1.5. So if you can't get the 2 premium cocktails and the skill 3 twice in this fight, don't worry about it. Just like use her skill 1, skill 2, and stall out to those last 2 turns. But for now, we're going to crash out. And again, if you did not finish off the ads and you want to use the Sanctioned Drift again, feel free to do that. I will go ahead and use the skill 3 though. And then here's another really annoying part of this fight. If the boss targets Vino with that single target fire attack, she's weak to it, so he will attack again. And Vino basically will probably not survive the rest of the fight till the end, even with using icy defense as much as you possibly can, because she takes that damage. Like a weakness hit, she gets burned usually, and then she usually just doesn't have enough HP, and Soy doesn't provide enough healing to get through the fight. So you probably want to reset there if Vino gets targeted with that. But for now, I will swap back to Dionysus and use Revolution. And then Soy can use Icy Defense here. And then Vino can use Diving Ray. And now Wonder can use his Highlight. And Queen can use her skill 3 again. And then we can now reapply Rebellion on Queen for these last 3 turns. Soy, this is where you'd want to go back to the gun, or use the gun for the first time if you had. And then Phoebe's back up again, so I will use her skill 2 on Queen. Again, you really want to make sure that you have 2 cocktails and you can use skill 3 before Queen's actions, her last 2 actions in Crash Out. Vino, go ahead and use Bullseye Bomber here. And then Queen can use skill 1. Just apply all these ailments again. And now we can swap to Bishamonten, and we'll use Imperial Purge. And then we got kind of unlucky. We didn't have enough ailments to get all 3 stacks of Tower of Purification. But yes, right now I would go ahead and use Vino. Soy is going to go ahead and use Icy Defense because we do not want to risk his Bless insta-kill thing next turn. Now we can go ahead and use Phoebe's skill 3 on Queen. Vino can use skill 1. And then Queen can crash out. And use her skill 3. And then now what we're going to do is, so you can swap to Ame and use Electric Dance, or you can swap to, Norn or Narcissus or whoever you want, inflict, an ailment again if you don't have them. Or you can, honestly, if you want to, you can just use Revolution and then reapply that. That may actually, in this situation, since he already has Shock, I'm actually going to do that. Because I think Dionysus at max will do a little bit more crit rate buffing, actually. It'll do 1% extra on Queen here, plus the crit damage buff. So I'm going to go ahead and do this. But if he didn't have Shock right here, I would go ahead and prioritize doing that over using Revolution there. But now we can go ahead and apply Smash Hit. We can use Smash Hit again and apply the defense down. And then Vino can use Bullseye Bomber. Queen can use her Highlight. And then we can use the skill 3, and I hope I never have to do a Yatsufusa fight again. Basically where I'm at with this. 52. Obviously, if you have an A0 Queen, you're not going to get, you know. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at with Yatsufusa. Same rotation on A0, obviously, like I said. The only difference is you may have to use Sanction Drift, you know, a couple extra times versus what I did, because I already have an A1, so that's the lowest I can use to show you guys. And at that point, you're already, like, not seeing kind of an accurate representation of what the fight is. So I might as well just use the A2 at that point. Sorry if I seem a little bit like annoyed on this one. I I just hate this fight so much, and I don't want to. I really just like didn't want to do this one. I'll be honest with you, but we got through it. If you have any questions though, obviously leave them down in the comments, and I'll do my best to answer whatever I can for you. But otherwise, I appreciate you guys watching, and I will see you on the next one, and have a good one.